What's going on, Team Tactile? I'm really excited to get into another Switch review because these have what I am starting to figure out is the making of what I think is the perfect Switch. So I got these from Kinetic Labs. They are, as you can see clearly right here, if I don't block the stuff, the Voyager Tactiles. So I got 110 of these from Kinetic Labs. The other day, got an email, said they were brand new, so I wanted to try them out, especially when I saw that they have that one thing that I think separates the baby kangaroos from all the others, and the baby kangaroos are awesome, and that is what they say is the double stage spring. And I will show you that because it was caught me off guard on the baby kangaroos, wasn't familiar with what that was, but now it's actually, I think, what really helps make this one of the better tactile switches out there, or at least that spring really helps. So they are factory lubes, so we don't have to do any lubing there. It says they're high quality. I would hope that they're not going to advertise them as non-high quality, but it has a polycarbonate top, nylon bottom housing with a palm stem. And outside of that, the 62.5-gram spring, durable, double stage spring, which we love. And then this is manufactured by JWK, but put out by Chosfox. I thought it was Chaos Fox. I guess it's Chosfox. I don't know. But you can get these in 70, 90, or 110. I paid $60.50 for 110 of these, which isn't a bad deal at all. Obviously, shipping and stuff is going to be up to you guys as well. But straight from Kinetic Labs, actually my first order from them as well. But let's get right into looking at what we got here with the Voyager Tactile switches. I think these are new because I got the email stuff and people do seem to be ordering them, but packaging, I'd say it leaves a little bit to be desired, but honestly, I kind of prefer this over like the baby kangaroo boxes with all the artwork that isn't my favorite, if we're being honest. I don't get the obsession necessarily with, the baby animals and things like that, but that's neither here nor there. You get a bag full of switches, and this is what they look like. I'll give you a nice kind of zoomed in view there. So they are really nice looking switches, to be honest. They are the 5-pin, so if you couldn't do the 5-pin on whatever you're working with, you can always snip those extra 2 off as long as you're keeping your nice conductivity pins, as I'll call them, intact, because that's going to be your problem. And let's see if we can get a sound on them. I'm holding it towards the microphone so you guys can see. They feel super aggressive on that bump from the tactile. So I'm excited about these. Obviously they open up a little easy like that. I will say, I think Acco switches open the easiest in my opinion. They are not the cherry style. They're the whatever the other style is called. So I do find that those pop open a little easier, but that's really not a huge deal because these, again, just sound like they're going to be absolutely awesome. And before I get my hands too looby, let's take a look at what we got here. So nothing crazy here. It's always hard to pick up on camera how much lube we're getting, but it does say in the description that they're factory lube, not generously, what's the opposite of generously, slightly. So you can definitely see it there. No issues. I don't necessarily see any crazy lubing on the top there. I'm going to pull the double stage spring out real quick just to take a look at the bottom that we have here. So nothing really there, and I'm not too surprised you'll get some on the sides right in the channels, but looks like a decent factory lube job, right? Really no complaints there. And then here you have these kind of double springs, which to me, this has become kind of part of the key. I don't know if it's just about the bump that it gives or what, but I mean, these types of springs just so far seem to do something for me, and I'm basing that mostly off of the baby kangaroos, don't get me wrong, but also the fact that these already feel fantastic out of the box, and they feel as good as the baby kangaroos did, and I was excited about those out of the box, so I'm excited about these out of the box. Yeah, they feel phenomenal. So because of that, I'm actually going to toss these into the same keyboard which is my KBD 67. It does make my life a little easier because it's a smaller keyboard, but so these are the baby kangaroos that I have in this right now. So let me pop these into the KBD 67 light, and we will see what we're dealing with here. All right, so we got our switches in here. Sorry or not sorry, got some little bit of doggo in there for a little bit. So if you ever hear barking, that's what that is, or see dog hair on my keyboards. But we got these Voyager Tactiles in, just like to show and talk about kind of the process of pushing them in. I'm getting better. I am the pin bender of all pin benders. I actually didn't bend any pins when I was doing this. So that's awesome. And didn't pull out any that had seriously bent pins, which is always super important as well. So far we are off to a good start. My prediction is they're actually very similar to baby kangaroos, but I think the tactile bump is a little more aggressive. I keep saying it. That's the best way I can put it. Like you feel it a lot more. It's, to some people that's incredibly satisfying, and why we buy tactile switches. So pop keycaps on this and we can do a sound test and talk about it. All right, so we got the keyboard back together, and let's go ahead and do a quick sound test. And then just real quick to wrap up the final thoughts on these, the Voyager Tactile is a fantastic switch. Hands down. When I'm getting good enough for at least my own personal preferences. When I opened that bag and I pulled that switch out and, I mess with it, like, grabbing another one like right here, I knew immediately that I was going to like these. I didn't know if I'd like them the best out of everything I've tried so far. And I'm still unsure about that. So I would put this as tied for first place right now with the baby kangaroos. Again, large reason why these stood out to me was because the construction of them is very similar. The two-stage spring seems to be a recipe for a fantastic switch, at least in my opinion. So if you are looking for a tactile switch, I would highly recommend this or the baby kangaroo, to be fair. But if you like that tactile bump and you really want a pronounced tactile bump in the switches that you're using, these would win every time. There's really just no contest. Even with the factory lubing, it's still there. It's super pronounced. They sound great. There isn't a huge difference in the sound. I do prefer the pitch of these a little bit. I think it's a little lower. As far as getting a deeper sound, I think you have to do a lot more work within the keyboard base itself, adding foam and things like that if you really want to lower the pitch and get out of clack territory. But I like clacky switches, so for me it's not a huge deal. I enjoy it, so I'm always looking for switches that have a sound closer to that, but these are phenomenal. They feel great. They're a great price. And yeah, I mean, they are tied for first because it's hard for me to pick, but I think after about another week, I would definitely know how I'm feeling about them. And maybe I'll do a recap even on kind of the switches and where we're at so far, because there's still more to cover. So, as far as my excitement of obviously keyboards are always the best. I'm not a huge keycap guy. I know everybody has their thing. Some people really love keycaps. I love switches. Like switches make me happy. New switches are super exciting. And I love seeing how they progress kind of from just holding them in your hand into the keyboard and just how that sound goes. So a really great switch to try out. I'll put a link in the description below where you can find them. Again, they're going fast-ish. There's still plenty left for now, but they are starting to do like 4 left or 12 left. So if you want to get a pair from Kinetic Labs, definitely don't sleep on it for too long. But otherwise, fantastic switch. Definitely recommend. And with that, I'm going to leave it here. I appreciate you all hanging out through another video with me, and I will catch you all in the next one.